Hello, my name is Benjamin. I am the Flirt Coach and Gay Libra. Welcome to the Flirt Coach Virtual Studios, aka my one bedroom apartment, as we talk about tips for a first date, how to keep the conversation flowing, how to calm some of those nerves. This might be 5, it might be 7, it might be 10. I don't know. I'm glancing down at my notes to make sure I don't miss a thing for you. Let's go. We're jumping into the part of this dating process where you've already got the first date. So maybe you met in person, you caught a flirt, got a number, set up a date. Yay. Or you got asked on a date. Yay. Or you're on the apps and got a first date. Yay. Congratulations. That's amazing. Not easy to do in today's dating climate. So you've already got the first date, and now this thing can happen. I want to address here like confirming the date, because sometimes maybe you set up a date on a Wednesday and you have it that weekend, or maybe you set up a date a week prior, 2 weeks prior, and this thing can happen where it's like, I don't know, I'm not hearing from them, we're not really talking. Is the first date happening? Okay. It's not a red flag or like there's something wrong if you're not texting or talking a bunch between like setting the date and the date. Honestly, that's a little bit preferable. Save the conversation for the first date. If you're more of that anxious attacher, save it for the date, the conversation at least. You don't need to be talking a bunch and texting a bunch before you've even met somebody. Just save it for the date. Oh God. Jesus, Benjamin. So ideally, the person that set up the first date will check in, confirm a few days before, day of, hey, so excited to see you tonight at so and so place at this time, whatever we're doing. Can't wait to see you, kind of thing. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So if you have the first date set and you're not hearing from them, you could always reach out yourself. Hey, just check in, make sure we're on for so and so at whatever time or whatever place, right? And that's really it. Sometimes we get wrapped up in gender norms, conventions, rules, right? If the guy is asking the girl on the date and he didn't confirm, if you reach out to confirm day before, day of, does that mean you're chasing? Does that make him low value? I think just get to the first date. I think just do that and then let everything else evolve from there. Fantastic. So we've got a first date. It's confirmed. Oh, and if they don't confirm, I mean, if you reach out to confirm and they say nothing back, well, then I would, I would reach out again. Hey, haven't heard from you. Would you like to reschedule? Something like that. Hey, haven't heard back from you. I'm going to assume that for whatever reason, we're not able to meet tonight. Would you like to do it next week or next weekend? Something like that. Like if they're not confirming your confirmation, oh my gosh, I know we're getting into the weeds here a little bit, but I know these are some of the thoughts that you have and some of the experiences that you will have. And so if they don't confirm the confirmation, then I would just assume it's not going to happen and offer to reschedule, like something like that. You don't want to show up to some place and just like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard from them in a few days. I reached out to make sure the date was on. They didn't say anything. Like at that point, they've got to take some ownership and let you know what's happening. All right. So let's say everything's going great. You've got the date, it's confirmed, and now you're ready to show up. I think it's worth talking for a moment here about what you're going to wear. I mean, this might be situation or date specific, kind of dependent on where your date is going to be. But I always just say wear something comfortable, right? Wear something that you feel really confident in. Like something that can happen is you want to be, you want them to think you're hot, right? You want them to think that you're attractive. Of course, like, of course, we're only human at the end of the day. And yet I say, dress for you. When you're setting up, getting dressed for that date, and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, I want your thought to be, damn, I look good. Whoever I'm about to go on a date with is lucky that I am going to be going on a date with them versus, oh my gosh, I hope they think I'm pretty. I hope they think I'm hot. I hope they like me, right? That kind of thing. The point is not even to be liked. The point is to try and cultivate, co-create a connection. Just see if there's something there, if there's a little bit of chemistry, like if there's that little bit of interest. Let's just simmer on those thoughts and dress for us. Maybe do our hair a little bit, maybe some makeup, maybe some fragrance. Yeah, the fragrance can really hit. But I would say impress yourself first before you look to impress the other person with what you're wearing and All of that. Okay, I'm doing a little bit of simple math here, and I think that's two tips so far, maybe three. Let's get to this one, the high value date, the low value date, the marathon date, all of that good stuff. First of all, I do have a three public date rule. If you're new here, hello, so glad you're here, so glad you're watching. God, my head keeps covering my sign. Shout out to Maddie for making that sign. So your first three dates, I say, need to be in public, because sometimes what can happen is you got that first date, maybe it's a marathon date, out to dinner that turns into a movie, that turns into a walk, that turns into a dessert, whatever, and then maybe come back to my place, or you part ways in the second date. Oh, come back to my place, I want to cook you dinner. No, no. Your first three dates are in public. Let the connection evolve, grow in public. If somebody wants to see you, truly wants to see you and pursue possibly dating and developing a relationship with you, whether it's for a season or a lifetime, they will make time for you in public. That's what we are doing. So, three public dates. And then what are we doing on those dates? Like, there's a lot of content out there that is very like poo poo anti the coffee date, and like the first date has to be like the prime time date, Friday, Saturday night. It's got to be dinner. It's got to be expensive. It's got to be extravagant. Ultimately, you have your standards. You decide what your first date is or could be for you, what's acceptable for you. For me, what makes a date high value or low value, why am I even speaking in those terms? I don't know. But what makes a date high value or low value is, can the person, right, is there some interest there pre first date? Is there some bare minimum baseline communication to set it up? Did we get there? Are they showing up on time? Are they appropriately, like, did they even put a little bit of effort into how they're going to look, or did they just roll out of bed kind of thing? Like, I don't know about that. Like, oh God, even if I showed up to a first date like this, I don't know, maybe the other person would walk away. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But like, can they show up on time, right? Are they respectful? Are they asking questions? Do they seem like they're interested in getting to know you? Are they letting you talk, right? Or are they just talking over you the whole time? We're going to get into some conversation tips here in a moment, but ultimately, like, how much someone can spend on you or how little they can spend on you doesn't indicate how high value or low value their potential is as a partner, as actually overlooking what actually matters and is what is going to build the foundation of a relationship. And in this initial, very, very early stage, the first date, it's how do you feel, right? Are you catching a vibe? Is there some mutual interest? Do you like how you feel around this person? Do they seem like they have a good energy? Are they displaying some respect, some conscientiousness, some active listening, some empathy? Yeah, like that's what I feel makes a date high value or low value or good and bad. And let's talk about the marathon first date now, which I do think sometimes more often than not can be a little bit of a trap, where the first date just is going so well, you don't want it to end. And I get that. Part of it is this mindset of maybe you haven't had a good first date in a long time and you're like, is this my only chance? Right? I've never had a first date like this before ever in my life, perhaps. You don't want it to end. And it's a little bit of like, and it's this, we're having so much fun. The conversation is flowing. Why would I want to cut off? Why would I want to limit? Why would I want to walk away from a good thing? Well, if the first date is that good, you know what might be even better? The second date. The second date, and then the third date, and then the fourth date. The first date as a marathon date. Sometimes, like, I've worked with some of y'all where the first date turns into a marathon date that then turns into a relationship. More often than not, that marathon date is the person that is going to ghost you. Then the very next time. So I know if you're having a great time, you don't want to just like end it. Bye, gotta go. See ya. But if you're having a really good time, you could very well set yourself up for a fantastic post first date conversation, an amazing second date, and then let the connection build from there, kind of thing. I mean, if you're already starting at a 10, I mean, you don't want the first date to be like the best date of all the dates. It can be really good, but we also want, there to be more date. All right. So, for what you can do on that first date, what do you want to do? right? What's something you would enjoy? What's something that would be fun for you? What do you have time for? What's your schedule like? Maybe it's about convenience. What's something that's a little bit close to you? For me, I like those more experience first dates. I tend to have some first date anxiety, some nerves. And so something I can like where we're doing something. It could be bowling. Like how much fun is that? For a first date, maybe you go play mini golf. Maybe it could be laser tag. You go to the escape room, like you go have a picnic and walk around the park, right? All of these are public places. Maybe you get ice cream. Maybe you really like doing the active first dates and you go rock climbing or you take like a yoga class or something like that. A great first date could also be some of those other kind of like creative classes you could do, like the paint night. You could go to a comedy show. I don't like love movies or even concerts as a first date because I don't know, you're not exactly talking a lot. You're just sort of like there and vibing. And yeah, maybe you're dancing, talking during a show or concert. And a movie, you're like, I don't know. It's sort of like, what am I doing with my hands? Are we holding hands? Like, what is this? There's sort of like, I don't know, sometimes a little tension there. Like, what are we doing? I would rather be talking to you right now. But a comedy show, right? You can laugh, you can make eye contact through it. There's usually intermissions or at least one. So you get that break. You can step outside, maybe grab a little dinner before, maybe go out for dessert afterwards. So yeah, on those first dates where I can be doing something that helped me move through a little bit of energy, I find to be very helpful for me. But ultimately, you do you, right? And so going back to setting up the first date, maybe you initiate, maybe you propose, maybe you offer something you would like to do, maybe they do. So, yeah, those are some first date ideas. To recap, all right, the first date has happened, confirming what do we wear? Little bit of mindset. What are we doing on the date? Fantastic. Now we're on the date. How are we greeting each other? I get this question sometimes. Like whatever makes you most comfortable. If we've been talking, for maybe like a week off and on, texting, there's been a little bit of flirting, maybe there's already been a phone call or FaceTime, you feel like there's some familiarity there, maybe you do greet them with a hug. Maybe it's more of a handshake. Maybe it's more of like a, hey, it's so nice to meet you kind of thing. Like, I think sometimes we make that initial greeting very awkward, but going in with some open energy, a smile, some eye contact, right? Just really bringing that. And then maybe you match whatever they do. Maybe they go in for a hug and you're not ready for that. Oh, hello, name. Yeah. And then you say, maybe we can end the date with a hug, right? Something like that. So, whatever your boundaries are, whatever you're comfortable with, go with it, right? You get to do what ultimately is best and most comfortable for you. Okay. Greeting one another, fantastic. Oh, and use their name in the greeting. Yeah, you know their name, right? Use that. That can be a really, really lovely tip. All right, that's going to do it for part 1 of this two-part series on first date tips. If I did this correctly, part 2 will be playing immediately after part 1. If for some reason you watched part 2 first and now you're completing part 1, you put the cart before the horse, you got a wild hair and said, "Let me just start with part 2." I mean, I can't put that past you. And now you've completed the series. Congratulations. There is no part 2. But if you haven't seen that yet, head on over to part 2 and I'll see you there.